Is this too big compared to our old one?
No, I don't think so.
That's a good size.
It's a good size.
Oh, cameras are on. Alright YouTube, this week we're talking about striking within the clinch or striking after the tegumi exchange. So if you guys have been following our channel, what we always recommend is to close the distance as quickly as possible on your terms so that you can get into a clinch range so that you have some feel of your opponent. Because if we're just striking each other from this middle range, it's pretty much who can strike faster, stronger, how good is your defense, how good are your eyes, right? And we all know speed, strength, eyes all degrade over time. So why should you focus on that when you can focus on the softer skills, which is the sensitivity that you have at a closer range? So that means if you start striking me from here, I gotta either stay away from the strikes or get real close as I can. So once I do that, then you realize we have to master this touch sensitivity range, this close range, and understand where he's going to strike next, maintain my balance, keep my posture up, all those things that we've talked about in the past. After that is mastered, that's when you start adding the strikes.
Some basic rules of thumb you want to kind of keep in mind when you're starting to employ these ideas is once you've established contact with your opponent, I still want to try to get myself off of his center line, right? So if you follow us and you look at the stuff that we do, if you've been to one of our seminars, basically all the movements that we're doing are clears, the arm drags, or clearing appendages to position myself on an angular advantage to my opponent. The other thing you want to try to also do is the more you can kind of drag his appendages down and to break down his posture, the better off you're going to be in the exchange. You want to be cognizant of your own body positioning. That's why we recommend getting really adept at the fundamental drills of tegumi, because that kind of helps your body keep its alignment when you're in these kind of confrontations. It does you no good to be able to move off somebody's center if you're moving off and you're super weak and you don't know that as soon as you move off this way, you will have to immediately change direction on them so they don't knock you over. And that is the goal. Theoretically, what you want to have happen is you want to also be attacking. Like even if you can't get the arm drag, popping something to clear him so that I can get in this angle. And here, whatever you have. A lot of people tend to do this thing. I mean, if that works, fine. But generally speaking, you're going to be so here, he's going to try to pull back or something of that nature. So that's the point. Once he starts pulling back, where I want to kind of come back in on him and strike wherever I can.
Another concept to consider is leaning your opponent's posture to one side. That way he's heavy on that side of his body. And naturally, a human being wants to self-correct, right? So they'll try to right themselves up or go back to the other side. That's an opportunity for you to strike on that side you're leaning. So for example, if I have my hand back here, of course everything's based in Kata, so I'm using this Kata movement here to try to drag him down. Naturally, he'll want to pull his posture back up, and that's a chance for me to bring a strike in, right? So you do that from any type of grip. I pull him down here, he comes back up, I come with the rise. I drag him down here, he pulls back, so I come back in. And all these things are going to present themselves because you are pulling his posture off. So anything, even trying to go down here, he self-corrects, I can let go so I can come right back up. Those type of flowing type of motions are great within the clinch because they're using his reaction against it.
The reason why these work is because if I'm trying to do the arm drag this way and Michael's too strong, he's fighting it this way. Why am I going to continue fighting and trying to pull myself off balance, right? I'm already losing the advantage, right? Because he's heavier that way. Like I'm doing it wrong or whatever. So I can use this fact that he's pulling himself to just let him pull me into him, right? So like Michael said, any grip, pull, tug can be done that way. So if he's pulling there and I release, he goes back a little bit more, right? If I pull here and I release, he comes back a little bit more. So you can use that to your advantage. You can plan for it, but it's much better if you just develop that touch sensitivity to just kind of feel when that's happening. When you're losing that little battle, that little tug of war, to then capitalize on the fact that you're losing that one, right? So. So the other thing was pulling the arms down, right, to help you pulling the posture down, right? Whether it's the arm drag or you're just gripping him from behind the head like that. Whatever you can do that, you want to be doing that. You want to, like what we say is, you want to be heavy on your opponent as much as possible. So you want to make them carry you. Even if I'm just here, I want to be relaxed enough here. Like, I'm not gripping like that. I'm just putting my body weight into it to make him carry me, right? You should be able to feel like when that's losing. Like, if I end up grabbing at a place where he's able to rip, then I'm gonna abandon, and then I'm gonna regrip on something else as soon as I abandon that, right? To make him continually have to deal with my presence, right?
Another thing to keep in mind is if you have a dominant posture on your opponent or you've broken down their posture, it's pretty much fair game to just start striking until they can regain their posture, right? So like a headlock position is very common. I'm not just going to try to throw him from here. His posture is broken down. So his goal is to bring his posture back up however he can. But since he's in a vulnerable position, I'm just going to start doing that, right, until he can do something else. And usually that causes a reaction. He tries to come back up and start doing something else. So anytime you can pull their posture down and hold that, it's kind of like you're 2 steps ahead and their 1 step is trying to get their posture back, but while they're doing that, they're just getting smashed in the face. So it's just something to keep in mind. I can have him here, and his goal is to try to figure out a way to up. So that means my goal is just hold this and just start doing everything else, right?
Okay, so another thing to also keep in mind, something else that you can kind of drill, is the idea of the willingly losing connection or disconnecting from your opponent in order to cause some kind of discombobulation there and be able to do a strike, right? So at the same time, so a real common thing is if you're having a grip here and he's pulling back, trying to get and just letting that kind of pull your hand into it, right? They do that a lot, kind of like in Muay Thai. You see it from out here when they'll grab and parry in that way, kind of a deal. Kickboxing does that a lot. You probably see it in MMA and stuff like that. But that's useful anywhere, whether you're holding down here, being able to push, grab, anchor down, and then pull here so that he pulls back up so that you can come in again, right? So that kind of rolling motion is very useful.
So another thing that we see that's underutilized within the clinch is boxers do it a lot, like an uppercut. But if you do it with hands on somebody, that type of rolling that goes up through the middle is very, very, very good too as well. Because most of the time, if you block this strike, or you can feel the strike coming in here, this outward in motion is very easy to block. Same with the other side. Even if I went like this, anytime that's like going cross or at these like 2 o'clock, whatever, 11 o'clock type angles, it's pretty easy because your body's kind of built to protect that. But anything that's kind of over the top is a little less hard to protect. So that's going to be an easy thing to do when you're in the clinch, because you're going to be able to guide where your opponent's going to be and drive things up and use your body weight to drive things forward, right? And it goes back to Aaron's thing about pulling things down. Because as you pull things down, you can start riding things back up. Or you pull things up so that you can drop things back down.
Still like, yeah. Just like this. Hey YouTube, so if y'all haven't noticed, we're wearing our new gi models that we're rolling out. These are prototypes, so we got some good stuff coming out for you guys. They're on order, the order is live. It's day 1 has passed, so you got a couple of days left. It's only going to be for a week, a limited supply on the orders. So get them while you can. It's experimental first wave, so we can get some feedback. So when we roll out the second model, they're that much better. We're taking all the info we can from everybody who gets one and take everything that we can into consideration when we're modeling the second group. So it should be a pretty solid product. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. So we're trying to make like a gi that's for the community, by the community, right? Something that's practical, that is not going to tear with grappling, that you can still wear to do kata and train with your friends. So it's kind of the all-purpose practical gi. And I think these two variations, we couldn't decide on which one, so we just created 2 of them and let the public decide, right? That's kind of how it should be.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see your guys' feedback. We're excited to get this project rolling. And like Aaron just said, we're having it open for a limited time. So if you want to be part of this, just feel free to go to karateculture.com/karate-gi and you'll see the 2 images there.